Hey everybody, what's going on? Mav here. Thanks for tuning in to this very special stream because today is Dev Direct Day and I'm looking forward to seeing what Xbox has in store. Aaron Greenberg said don't be late, so I'm getting started even a little bit early. I think we're having a few people roll through as well. I think Fuzzy said he might be here. I'm not sure, and possibly 3-bit depends on who's busy, who's not. So we might have some people join in on this co-stream as well. But besides that, if not, I'm here hanging out, and we're gonna be watching this developer direct together. So first big showing for any game company of the year, really, with promoting lineup of games slated for this year. We know Xbox has 4 games that they are showing. Rumors of possibly a fifth or maybe even a sixth game that they may have here. 2 games that we don't know about are that we do know about are South of Midnight and Doom: The Dark Ages. Those are both Xbox first party. Will be here, as well as a third party Game Pass day and date game that got a lot of hype last year. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which is a made by a French studio, former Ubisoft devs, but it's in a JRPG kind of style, turn-based RPG. Looks absolutely amazing. So that's actually my most anticipated to see more of at this show. And then we know that there's at least one mystery game here, and then possibly more. Rumors been swirling around like crazy about what the known mystery game is, the one that we know is going to be there, but we don't know what game it is. However, there's been a lot of rumors about this game behind the scenes from many people, all saying the same game. So we'll see if that turns out to be true or not. Again, I'm trying not to spoil anything for anybody that doesn't want to be spoiled on what the rumor is or what that leak is, if it's true. So we'll see. But if it is true, I'll say this: I'm really looking forward to it because I really want to know what it'll look like. But yeah, everybody who is here, thank you for being here. Thanks for choosing Fun Speculation to hang out and watch the Dev Direct with. We always have fun doing co-streams, and always kind of like a family atmosphere here. And speaking of that, we just did have the one and only Fuzzy Belvedere hop in here, and he's getting his stuff together. So Fuzzy will be here, and I'm super excited for that because Fuzzy's excited, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How's it going, Fuzz?
Not too bad. Glad to be here with you and looking forward to the showcase, man. This is surprise after surprise, and Xbox is killing it this year, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get this camera set up right. Just make sure here. Yeah, Aaron Greenberg said don't be late, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I think we're anticipating one of the surprises to be early.
yeah.
But I don't know if it's a secret game or if it's another little special surprise. I think it might be. I don't know. I don't know if like he would say that just because of revealing what the mystery game is early. I think he's saying that because there's an extra thing.
Possibly. Like I was kind of wondering that too, if it's going to be a timing thing, but it kind of makes sense now, especially since more people are, I guess, aware of what it might that special game might be,
Yeah.
and then have like maybe a special guest appearance later on in the show. But either way they flip it, I think it'll kick the show off to a rising start. So it'll be awesome either way they do it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Out of the games that we do know about, I think I think you had said South of Midnight was the one you were most looking forward to. Am I right?
Yeah, because Doom is Doom, so I'm excited for it any way you look at it.
Right.
But South of Midnight's a little bit different, being that platformer, and I'm not normally the platformer guy, but like was it Kena Bridge of Spirits kind of got me more into it. Same thing with Psychonauts 2. Those were like surprises for me, so I'm looking forward to seeing if this kind of has that similar surprise. And looking at the gameplay aspect, I think it might. So, and then what is it? Expedition 33. It just I'm not the biggest turn-based player, but what is it? Like a Dragon kind of converted me a bit, and I think this has a little bit more of an actiony look to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out too.
Yeah, right on, man. I was freaking out for a minute because everybody in this Xbox official stream here was like, there was an error because it was just buffering, spinning for a little while.
Mhm.
But yeah, it looks like everything's good to go on their end. So, all right. Ooh, we got official music here for the Dev Direct and the starting soon thing. Let's see if there's any teases or hints in this. Got Doom images going on here, a little hand drawn stuff. Um, yeah, for me, I was saying to the chat, like, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is kind of my most anticipated here, just because, there was a little leaked footage of Doom yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That had me really intrigued, man. Like, it was just kind of like some small, like, snippet kind of level design stuff. But I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that one actually has me going a little bit. But I before that, I was like, okay, I kind of know what to expect from Doom, because we got like Doom 2016, we got Doom Eternal. This one is like, taking it to obviously like this dark age medieval kind of aesthetic and stuff with dragons and everything. But
Yeah.
now after seeing the levels design snippets, I'm wondering if it's like potentially even going back a little bit more old school with level designs and stuff, which had me p- intrigued to see. So I'm actually really curious what we're gonna see from the Dark Ages. South of
Yeah.
Midnight, I want to hear some more music. I want to see more. I want to see like another part of the world, right?
Mhm.
That you're going to be going in. See, I know it's like all based on the basic the same like, kind of area, but I kind of want to see
Yeah.
a little bit different, like mix up with some kind of the environments and stuff like that to see what they got. Maybe to other characters as well. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. The question is just how what surprises there and how many of them, right? And that's what we're all looking forward to as well. I think like they have the
Yeah.
potential to have like 8 to 10 first party games this year. And if we count them up, there's already at about 7.
Yeah.
So
This is going to be a tough
yeah,
year. They got to figure out where they're going to show these games. Like we know the
yeah,
showcase is going to probably be the big bright spot as far as that's concerned. But do we get like a partnered direct in between, kind of like we did last year, where I think they did like an indie one and then they did like a third party one later in the year. Plus, they did a bigger showing last year at like Gamescom and even Tokyo Game Show. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're not going to do anything at Tokyo Game Show," and they wound up showing up and showing some stuff. So it's definitely going to be an interesting year. But I said it before. I thought like maybe we'll see like 6 or 7 things at this Dev Direct. Not all of them being first party, but at least some of the ones that we know are in the works and are probably going to land this year. Like Replaced is more than likely going to land this year. A recent update from the developer, Silk Song, is probably going to land this year.
mhm.
And then one that we've heard some rumblings in the background, maybe Contraband shows up this year as well. But should be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Contraband hits this year too. That would be a good fit because the multiplayer. There's not because a lot of the stuff they have this year is actually single player games, right?
Yeah.
Um, Steel Rain is dropping in as well. I always love when Steel hops in. I'll let him get his stuff set up here.
Mhm. Yeah,
Get,
watched him earlier on the stream for Tokyo Extreme. Waiting for you to
yeah.
do your next Mavcast of that as well.
Uh,
I'm on the fence. I want to buy it, but I just bought the Quest 3, so I'm enjoying some of that stuff. But man, it looks like what I expected as far as like the street racing and highway aspect. So definitely looking forward
I
to it.
have some hours into Tokyo Extreme Racer now. I've been able to play it since last week, and like I was gonna do a stream today, but we got this and we got PM in the PM, so it's like
Yeah.
I'll maybe at some point today. But like if you played the old school Tokyo Extreme Racers back on the Dreamcast, and you put some time into this, it clicks to that same get you it gets me hooked, man, to where I got to get the next boss, the next rival, the next one. You know what I mean? It's like it's got that gameplay loop for no better choice of words there because you're actually on the loops, right? But yeah, it's got its hooks in me, man. It's not like gonna be the most like amazing graphics or the most amazing handling and all this other kind of stuff, but like it's just a fun ass racing game, right? Steel Rain, what's up, dude? You're on mute, bro. In Discord.
Oh, there we go.
Says
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Oh, what's going on, yo? I mean, yeah, I was just got done doing some house stuff and took a break from playing Tokyo Extreme earlier, like Fuzzy was saying, and I do definitely speak to a lot what Mav is saying. Again, the last time I played Tokyo Extreme Racer was on PlayStation 2. Before that, I recently jumped into Night Runners, which was a solo dev, basically creating his version of Tokyo Extreme Racer. It's a little bit more sim though.
Yeah,
it's definitely a little bit more sim. Damage matters, fuel matters. Like, there's just a lot of add-on stuff that he is trying to add on multiplayer and all that good stuff, but that's in early access. But Tokyo Extreme Racer, man, I mean, there are some things that I would like for them to possibly look at and adjust just because it is the modern era. Like, I definitely, like, I never disagreed with either you or Pong when it came to, you know, not everything needs to be the same. And I'm always going to be somebody to speak for that. Again, GT and Forza exist for a reason, right? Doing very similar things, but they're also very different from each other. The only thing that I was more so, because when games come back, I want them to come back in the best way possible and attract as many people as they can. Because again, games like the bigger games, Forza for an example, instead of Forza, and I spoke to this earlier, instead of Forza Horizon putting out another Lego DLC or another Hot Wheels DLC, I would have figured it would have been easier for you to go, hey, let's do Forza Horizon 5 Street. Let's lean more into that and see if we could pull more people in, because obviously people are playing, what's the freaking name of the game? The offshoot Horizon. I don't know why I'm thinking about Car Horizon? Club. No, like, not for the other version of for the Ubisoft's version.
Crew Motorfest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been expecting for Forza Horizon to go more so that direction because they have the perfect lane for it
and stuff. Yeah.
And there's not many games like Tokyo Extreme Racer out there that are more like direct. Like, hey, this is an arcade game. It's not Need for Speed. It's not Midnight Club. It's not any of these other games. It's exactly what it is. You played the game from back in the day, go look at it. You play this one, it's literally a modern one. Again, I think my biggest critique of the game is just they do need to work on how the car feels on the road. And I don't know if it's noise feedback or visual feedback that they need to work on. Maybe visual feedback would help. Maybe some smoke coming off the tires or something like that, like when you start fishtailing it. And because it does feel like you're just sliding like along glass or like on like a hockey rink or whatever the case sometimes. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, it's a really dope game. $30 early access. I know a lot of people aren't about that. I think it's well worth it for Genki to come back and show themselves in this form. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, man.
Excited for the direct, man.
Yeah, I think they could use some UI enhancements and ultra wide support is my main thing right now too.
Are you playing it ultra wide?
I'm playing it on my ultra wide, but it's like they don't have the proper resolution.
It's kind of has the boxes on the side or whatever.
But yeah, man, it's been fun. It's been a fun experience so far. Like,
can't wait to jump back in.
$30 early access. Launched early access today. Unless you're in Canada, there was some kind of weird legal issue they had in Canada.
It's illegal.
Yeah,
to
where
it was a bug.
Yeah, no, it was like some kind of a legal thing they got to get around. I think some kind of licensing issue or something for something in Canada, probably. But yeah, they said there's news coming to that. They're expecting early access to last around 4 months. And if you buy it in early access now, you get you get to obviously keep the game for the discount of $29.99 because that's not going to be the regular price when it launches. But yeah, man, like maybe that was a classic franchise that came back in a big way today, at least a big way for me. And I know it's not the biggest launch, right? But hey, seeing Tokyo Extreme Racer back in any kind of way is just mind-boggling for me, right? But Tokyo Extreme Racer happened today. Is there another classic franchise that gets announced as coming back today? Remember Jez hinted at decades of history, legendary Japanese IP. Now, without going into spoiler territory, I don't know how many people are out there that know, but like there's probably been like 5 people behind the scenes, different podcasters and everybody. So and somebody's out there saying they know what it is and putting it out there. A couple of them are. I'm not putting it out there. Oh, you haven't seen what it is? Okay. Yeah. So
I still haven't seen
it. I don't know for sure if it's real or not. What everybody is saying that it is, I'm gonna assume it is because the amount of people that have told me the same thing. But like, what if they all have the same source and the source is wrong, right? So I have to take that into account. They all have a guy, right? I don't have a guy.
Oh, do you guys know?
Them. I know what they're saying.
Okay, you know
to me.
Fuzzy, do you know?
What people behind the scenes have been saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess let me jump out on the limb because I made a guess. I think this is the game y'all might be talking about, and it may not be. Again, I haven't seen anything. It was just when that got posted into the DMs, when we were like throwing it around or whatever. It was one of the first guesses that I threw out there, just because I don't think that this is doing anything. But the Ninja Gaiden collection just came into Game Pass. All 3 games, the trilogy. So you can play them right now in Game Pass, which is very convenient when you hear somebody say, hey, there's a game coming out. And not only that, what also makes it extra convenient, they also have a Metroidvania that's about to release that they just announced. That's not something typically that you would, why a 2D Metroidvania Ninja Gaiden? Like, I mean, that's cool, right? Like, and I know people are interested in it and everything. No knock against it. Again, I'm getting a little bit into my 2D bag again, but it was just, there's too many things that are playing off of each other, especially coming from them. And with Rise of the Ronin still not on PC or coming to Xbox, or the game's been out for a while. Like, I know the game didn't sell the magnificent numbers. So what else are you guys working on that has to be more important? My guess would be a modern Ninja Gaiden, because there is no other game that's like that right now, that plays similar to that, right? And it does have a lineage with Xbox, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So that's my guess. I could be wrong. I could be off base. I guess we'll see. I figured that maybe that's what you guys were talking about. I'm not sure, but it was my first guess.
Let's just assume that Steel's right. Okay? Just for shits and giggles. No other reason.
Speculation.
No other reason, just for shits and giggles, right? So let's say Steel's right. What form would the game come back in a full-fledged release? Like, would it take from all the Souls games that really kind of took from it originally? Because like the old school Ninja Gaiden games had a lot of those elements to it, with okay, you die, you go back to a certain point, you have to go back and retrace, and the enemies reappear. A lot of games did. Yeah. And so like they had a lot of the same similar mechanics that later became known as Souls-like mechanics, because games like Demon Souls and Dark Souls really cemented those in a more open, bigger, grander way, right? And also Ninja Gaiden was always back in the day known for being very hard, very difficult.
Yeah.
I think people always said that. I think it's a time and place. I never had problems. I never had problems with Ninja Gaiden, but I remember people talking about it back then. But like, I think if I was the same gamer I was today, then I wouldn't have a problem with Souls games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So it's like just where you are with like your
also
how you
play
games,
right?
too, right? So, but like,
It's
do
all
they
different.
go more fledged into the current modern day trends of what the Souls genres are doing? Like, we see tons of games getting announced that have a kind of similar look or aesthetic and stuff, trying to go after maybe the Elden Ring audience, right? But they're all justified to exist in their own way because they're all doing something different, right? Do they go
Yeah.
after that audience, or they go and try and make a new version of the classic? You know what I mean? Like, that was.
I think
It's kind of a weird
think
because,
they
like,
go
which
more-
audience are you serving? You know?
I think they go more the Devil May Cry route, the more the action route, the more the action oriented route. There still may be some of those things in there, like some of the feeling of loss, going back to it, going back to a previous checkpoint, stuff like that. I saw somebody, who was it, Shane, said they really need to update Ninja Gaiden for a modern, younger Souls like Reddit gamer. But I don't think that that's what it is. To me, I feel like Ninja Gaiden was slept on to a certain degree, and it is still looked over. Whereas, because Ninja Gaiden was also very gruesome as well, like it's in your face, crazy combos, cool kill animations, stuff like that. So if you're able to make a modern version of that, I think it would catch on because of how cool the Hayabusa armor is in itself, right? Just that aesthetic. And because we haven't had like a proper, I don't know, like a proper action game like a Devil May Cry in some time. It's been years now. The closest thing, even Stellar Blade is not that, right? Or the old God of Wars as an example. Nier is another example. It just depends on how they would want to modernize. I do think it's going to be a little bit more open for sure. I don't think it's going to be quite Sekiro, per se either. I don't know that. I think it's going to go more of that action-oriented route. Just crazy combos. Maybe you have tough enemies or whatever that you gotta kind of have to figure out, learn how to deal with. But other than that, like, I don't know. That's one of those, like, same thing with Splinter Cell, right? And we talk about that all the time. It's another one of those IPs that Splinter Cell was cool back in the day. I slept on Splinter Cell for quite some time, right? I didn't really jump on until probably Blacklist. Where I was like,
you
wow,
didn't jump onto Blacklist. Wow. Yeah.
Probably not, right?
Yeah.
Like, from what I can remember, there was a multiplayer that I played of Splinter Cell, but I didn't play it very long. It didn't hold me or my friend group for very long. But the story on all of them was magnificent.
Yeah.
Because as I went back and played them, but that's another one of those. It's like, hey, if you re-release that today, even your most recent one, completely remake it, or change the story, and I know y'all talked about that before. Hey, maybe the daughter gets involved. What do they need to change the story? Do they just start all the way over? Whatever they do, what other game is like that right now? Ghost Recon isn't there in that space. Rainbow isn't there in that space.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell's also third person. Like, could Ninja Gaiden in this example be that attractive factor for Xbox? That mature rated, over the top, maybe it can be an icon.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's to your point, if that's the game, right? It used to be exclusive on Xbox, right? Much like Splinter Cell as well, right? These were both brands that back in the OG Xbox days were synonymous with Xbox. And part of the reason they were exclusive on Xbox back then was because Xbox was the only device that could actually run those games.
Yep.
Because it was ahead of the time on a lot of those. So it had some de facto exclusives just because of the capabilities of the box. Developers were chomping at the bit to take advantage of that, right? Now, if, let's say it's not Ninja Gaiden, Fuzzy, is there like another Japanese legendary franchise that you would think it could be, like, putting all the crumbs together? I know it's hard to ignore all the noise, right? So
yeah, well, there's a couple, like, at least from an Xbox standpoint, although they didn't really have much as far as a follow-up or subsequent, in the series. Well, you got Lost Odyssey and you got Blue Dragon. Those two, I think, would be,
that's a good point,
at least from an Xbox standpoint, probably the next best two. I think, and it's weird. I think because it would involve a developer that has gone back and forth with E3 or with Phil about doing something in the future before his passing and stuff. But yeah, I think those would probably make the most sense, at least from an Xbox standpoint. But some of the stuff from Sega, because wasn't Panzer Dragon one of the like a Sega title that wound up being on Xbox as well? That to me, because I love playing that on my Saturn, so I could see that being another one, especially seeing how good of a relationship Sega and Xbox have. That would be an awesome one to bring back as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like legendary classic franchises that have been dormant that I could see coming back. And I mean, there's like several. I mean, my dream one would be some Final Fantasy Tactics to finally get another announcement here, or somewhere, anywhere, all the time. It's like, that was a game that was part of the NVIDIA leaks. Almost every single game in the NVIDIA leaks has come to fruition. We've still been waiting on that one. And is it going to happen? Is it not? I don't know. But like, that's one I want to see at some point. What about you, Steel? Like, is there a different one that you would like to see? Like old school?
Outside of Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah.
Just because I've heard so much about like games like Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon. I've never played either.
Yeah.
So I would like to see kind of those be remade and brought forward. I don't know about Lost Odyssey because doesn't that play off of Journey to the West? And we kind of just had that with Black Myth Wukong. So I don't know if you'd want to. I know it's different still, right? Like it's still very different.
I'm trying to remember the story. Like,
I'm just throwing it out. I thought that's what I've heard from people before. I could be completely off. Again, I never played it. I mean, thinking about it being a new game, it's an IP that has history, but it's a new game.
Mm-hmm.
I was going Ninja Gaiden because Ninja Gaiden has been away for some time. And we haven't got a game for that for a while. Other than that, I mean, I would like to be bougie and say it's Devil May Cry, because Devil May Cry has been gone for a while, right? I would like to see a Devil May Cry 6, right? Again, that's, to me, DMC is the granddaddy of action. Well, of course, he's not the granddaddy, but he is the most popular and the coolest one out of a lot of the action genre, and it is the most iconic for me. It would be easy to come back in the modern era. 10 years, though, would place it back to 2015, and I think DMC 5 is newer than 2015. So if we're going back further than that, like, is it Phantasy Star related? Though they've had a new game more recent, so that I probably wouldn't see that.
Yeah.
With Phantasy Star Online 2.
Yeah, I would like to see a Dead or Alive game. I would like
Dead or Alive would be great. Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur are missing very heavily.
A good one too. Yeah.
I am very confused with the fighter resurgence. Why there's not a Dead or Alive or a Soul Calibur around the corner. And I get Soul Calibur in the last 2 games hasn't done the greatest. It seems like since we moved away from the games kind of having their own special characters for different games. Like you had Spawn.
Yeah.
You had Spawn for, I believe, for Xbox. You had Link for Nintendo, and then you had somebody else for PlayStation. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Kratos. And then we've kind of moved away from that, outside of like moving into Star Wars characters and stuff like that, which I kind of think is also different. But those two, Dead or Alive is the one that's kind of most obvious because their last game, they tried to piecemeal their game, right? Oh, it's a free-to-play game, but you have to buy every character. From what I remember of, I think that was Dead or Alive 6. From what I remember of it, you got the game, and then every character was like damn near $5.
You're right. So Dead or Alive 6 had the worst method of getting characters. And so like if you install the game today, right? And they've had it on sale, like the whole collection, everything for like $5 before. You can get like everything ridiculously cheap. But if you install it, there's like 200 notifications you get for insane installs. It's like every cosmetic, everything is like installed separately. It's ridiculous. However, it does play really great if you have it. But there was missteps back in that last generation when people were trying to figure out like this whole games as a service thing and stuff. They were trying different stuff, and last gen, really the only fighters that really did well sales wise was the NetherRealm games, right? Injustice and Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And everybody else, like the rest of the industry, decided like we're going to like just smaller budgets, niche audience. We're not going to put as much into it. You know, Street Fighter was exclusive on PlayStation. Tekken came out and did okay, but it still wasn't as
upgrade.
Like,
it didn't look good on next like Xbox One X.
The graphics were blurry, like looking.
It was grainy,
yeah.
Unless you're on PC, it was grainy.
So like there was and it, like even those other franchises like you mentioned, like Dead or Alive's release was weird. And it was also broken at launch too. It was like just janky. And Soul Calibur was a great game, but didn't have that hype around it anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
It didn't stay.
Like, it wasn't as like marketed very well. It just kind of dropped, you know, like it was weird. I think this gen we've seen, like you said, the resurgence, you know. So, but it's been other games that got the big budgets and put in all the marketing, and they went all out on it, like Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6. You know, like they look great, play great. MK1 didn't do as well as MK11, but I think it's just because it's like not as appealing in some ways. It's not as dark, you know, with the aesthetic and stuff that they chose. I think some of that has to do with it, you know. But fun game still. I really like MK1. But yeah, overall, it's been a resurgence for not just fighting games. It's been a resurgence for many different genres. So what do you see like? Ridge Racer come back. Would that excite you, Fuzzy Velvet here? Like it's some classic racing franchise. I just got Tokyo Extreme Racer. I never thought I'd see it again.
That's true. It was, you know, real quick. I don't mean to interrupt, Fuzzy, but I meant to mention this to you, man, because it is so funny to me how adamant y'all have been about Tokyo Extreme Racer over the last 2 years, and then we randomly get an announcement, and then their release date is literally is like here now. That is so insane to me. It's so funny how games.
Was fucking out of it. I never thought when we saw that post. Still, it was like, what the fuck? Like this is actually happening.
That is so insane.
Like it just out of all the franchises that we asked to come back to see that one that we both like love so much actually come back was just crazy. Anyway, go ahead, Fuzz.
Yeah. My fault.
No, well, you guys spoke it into existence, but there's a lot. There's a lot of racing games I want, and I just saw something earlier. I don't know if it was what's his name, Idle Sloth, or under his real name now, made a post, or somebody made a post about iRacing's NASCAR 25, which I thought we were going to hear something before the end of last year, but apparently I guess that's right around the corner, and we'll probably hear more as we get close to the Daytona 500, like mid-February or late February. But back in the day, Papyrus and Sierra made what I consider one of the best sports racing sims out there. They also did IndyCar and stuff like that, but for the way they did NASCAR with all 3 tiers, it was awesome. I want that now, so that's what I'm looking forward to, hopefully at some point this year.
Right on, man. It was interesting they put out on a note on the screen about how all the titles support Xbox Play Anywhere, PC, cloud saves, all that stuff. It's like they're trying to drive that point home for people.
Are you watching it in here, or are you just watching on YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah. The Discord thing doesn't work very well. Four games. Four studios. Straight from the devil.
Put it in 4K. Let's see what happens. I like these every time they do. get rid of the chat.
Team Ninja. Yeah, Ninja. It's gonna be Ninja Gaiden.
It could be a different Team Ninja game.
Could be. Could be. I don't think so though.
こんにちは、光栄テクモゲームズチーム忍者の安田文彦です。今日は皆様にチーム忍者が長く大切にしてきたアクションシリーズの新情報を発表できる機会をいただけてとても嬉しく思います。早速ですが、こちらをご覧ください。
Several years ago, the Dark Dragon, youngest of the divine dragon gods, wreaked havoc across the world.
What are they
The plot
doing?
was ultimately thwarted through the efforts of a sole
Yeah, they said all
ninja.
games are gonna be in Game Pass.
However, the Dark Dragon's husk remained, and from
This
this
doesn't
husk
look like it.
fell an endless downpour of cursed rain. The abandoned Tokyo continues its struggle against chaos to
Futuristic?
this day.
Infiltrated the facility.
Well, they played.
Commencing mission.
Platinum. Platinum. Okay.
Platinum too?
Platinum partnering with Team Ninja. Yeah.
Well, we already know that.
Wow.
Look. Yep.
No escape.
Exactly. That. This is cool. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it's definitely more like Ninja Gaiden than some of the Souls games. Classic.
This is it.
Ooh. I like the design. I just like the design overall.
Ryu Hayabusa.
Definitely.
Whatever your clan is plotting, it ends here.
Oh, that's a classic.
Okay, then bring them
So
back.
you've come, Raven.
Back off, Hayabusa. I will execute my mission.
Ninja Gaiden 4. Wow.
世界中の町人の皆さん、10年以上大変お待たせしました。最強の忍者とな
Oh, you
り
got
容赦なく
two
襲
different
い来る
character
敵に挑む
perspectives?
ハイスピードアクション忍者ガイデン
They
の
do
ナンバリング
Devil May
最
Cry
新作として
thing.
忍者ガイデン
That's
4を発表させていただき
DMC4.
ました。
Nero and Dante.
本作はプラチナゲームズさんとの協業で開発を進めています。プラチナゲームズさんのアクションゲームというジャンルにおける実績は言うまでもなく、ベヨネッタやニアオートマタなど素晴らしいアクションタイトルを生み出してこられました。
It's the game that
忍
everybody
者
was
ガイデン
saying
4というタイトルを
behind the scenes.
10年以上の時を超えて新たに皆様にお届けするにあたり、より多くの方に新鮮な気持ちでプレイしていただけるよう、新たな世界を新主人公であるもう一人の町人ヤクモで冒険するという形で制作することにしました。先ほどご覧いただいた映像の中で竜ハヤブサも登場しておりましたが、彼は今回も物語に密接に関わってきます。なぜヤクモと戦うことになったのか、竜ハヤブサが戦う目的は何なのか、本作の物語の中で展開していきます。
任務は必ず成し遂げる。邪魔をするな。
I played
物語
one, played
は
some two.
黒竜がもたらした正気の雨によって荒廃した首都東京が舞台となっています。この雨は黒竜がまだ生きている証であり、雨が止まない限り東京に安寧は訪れませ
And
ん。
this will be supposedly this year too, because that's Barry Reaper. Oh, Demon
今作の新主人公であり、ハヤブサと対
A lot
の
of gameplay.
カラス一門に所属するヤクモが首都東京で黒竜を倒し、この世界を晴らすため戦いに身を投じます。
They've been working on this for a bit.
Yeah.
これまで忍者ガイデンシリーズで描かれてきたダークでハードな世界観は継承し、そこにさらに危機を感じさせる要素として呪いやより混沌とした景観のデザインを取り入れています。ステージプレイ中に街が呪いの影響を受け、ビルは崩れ、道は歪み、ヤクモをピンチに陥れることでしょう。舞台となる東京はとある出来事によって街全体が崩壊し、 魔族やヤクモと敵対する勢力がひしめき合う状態になっており、環境全体がプレイヤーに牙を向くように感じられるはずです。前作より立体的に自由度の増した危険に満ちたステージを忍具やシリーズおなじみの体術など忍者アクションを駆使して乗り越えていくことになります。レールアクション、スイングアクションなどのダイナミックで爽快なシチュエーションを多く追加しました。これら以外にもさまざまなシチュエーションやチャレンジ、隠されたアイテムなどを用意しており、ステージが進むごとに上がっていくテンションにも驚いていただけると思います。
This is an
新しい
action
主
game.
人公のヤクモは
Yes.
竜ハヤブ
This
サ
is
に
what
次
people
ぐ
mean.
新たな長
Stellar
人で
Blade.
す。
The reason why
彼
people
に
say
はま
Stellar
だ
Blade
若
more
さも
Souls
残って
like
いますが、
because it does
カ
not
ラ
play
ス
like
一
this
門を
game
背負う
does.
天才
This
忍
is
者
what
で
they
もあり、
mean by action
忍
game.
者ガイデンシリーズにおける忍者の頂点、竜と肩を並べる次世代の超人たり得る人物としてデザインしています。そんなヤクモの前に立ちふさがるのは荒れ果てた東京の治安維持組織であり、黒竜の封印を守る竜神島や現世に蔓延する人ならざる
The
者
thing that I speak
龍
to
馬、
all the time. Make a cool
そしてもちろ
character.
んシリーズおなじみの魔人も登場します。
Interesting
また
story.
現時点では公開していませんが、新たなキャラクターやシリーズファンの方に喜んでいただける人物も登場しますので、続報にご期待ください。
従来のシリーズからバトルスピードをさらに加速させ、目にも止まらぬスピードで敵と
Yeah, I
の
was
攻
gonna say,
防
it
を繰
looks
り広げる
faster.
ことができます。さらにヤクモが使える新要素、結節忍術ヌエの型を駆使したダイナミックな攻撃によって、これまでから大きく進化した一対他の戦闘を可能にしました。ヌエの型ではこれまでの忍者ガイデンにはない広範囲かつ一撃必殺の攻撃となっており、多勢に無勢の状態が長く続く戦況を一気に覆すことができます。もちろん
I still wanna be able to
1対
ride
1の戦闘における比率も健在です。プレイヤー同様、敵もガードや回避をしてくるため、緊張感のあるフェアな戦闘を味わうことができます。敵の動きをしっかりと捉えながら、一瞬の隙を逃さずに攻撃を仕掛けていくことが重要です。ヌエの型によって忍者ガイデンのアクションの味わいにさらなる進化を感じられるかと思います。
特にアクションに関しては手触り、バランス調整など細部にわたり日々議論させていただき、会社の垣根を越えた密なやり取りをさせていただいています。本作の主人公であるヤクモは竜とは一味違うアクションを有していますが、その中でもしっかりと忍者ガイデンらしさを感じていただけると思います。例えばカラス、ヌエ、2つの型があるという点がヤクモの大きな特徴ですが、それらが持つ多彩な性能のアクションを用いて敵や状況ごとに使い分ける攻略の深みや滅却、絶技などを絡めた抑揚あるスピーディーな攻防などはもちろんヤクモでも健在です。
ヤクモと竜ハヤブサはそれぞれがかなり異なる個性的な遊び心地になっていますので、さまざまな戦闘バリエーションを楽しむことができるようにな
Again,
っていま
is
す。
this not good enough for the modern audience? Okay, like let me know. It's not a
ヤクモ、
reinvigoration.
そして竜ハヤブサの双方で飛燕、伊豆直しなどシリーズおなじみのアクションも駆使しつつ、新アクションを織り交ぜた新しい忍者ガイデンにご期待ください。忍者ガイデンシリーズに色濃く残っている歯ごたえやグレードの高いアクション体験の継承、さらに我々プラチナゲームズの特徴であるスピーディーなアクションやダイナミックな演出も取り入れ、進化した正当続編を作り上げるべく総力を挙げて開発を進めております。
容赦ない敵とのいかなる攻防にもフェアに戦える手触りをヤクモでも目指しています。皆様に進化した忍者ガイデンを触っていただける日を楽しみにしています。
シリーズファンはもちろんのこと、忍者ガイデンを初めてプレイする方でも存分に楽しめる作品になっておりますので、ぜひ発売をお待ちください。
長年にわたってプラチナゲームズさんと共にまさに忍者のように潜んで忍者ガイデン4の開発を進めてきましたが、ついに発表することができて非常に嬉しく思います。2025年秋に本作を皆様にお届けできるのを楽しみにしています。続報にもぜひご期待ください。
Xbox Game Studios Publishing.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're helping
さて
publish it and
本
everything.
日お伝えしたい発表はそれだけではありません。こちらをご覧ください。
That says a lot.
Take a look. One more thing. If they announced Dead or Alive as well,
That would be insane. What is it? Okay, no. The Gaiden again.
okay, this is more
Is it a remake? This shit looks really clean for whatever reason.
My path leads through the land of the dead.
And thus the sun sets on the Dragon Ninja bloodline.
Like,
Genshin, go back to hell.
All paths before me are cruel and arduous. Our time has come.
Ninja Gaiden Black 2.
忍者ガイデン2のオリジナル版は2008年に Xbox 360で発売し、
Ninja Gaiden 2
バイオレンスの表現と
Black
ハイスピードなバトルを皆様にお楽しみいただいた作品です。今作忍者ガイデン2ブラックではオリジナル版の表現に立ち戻り、アンリアルエンジン5を用いてグラフィックを大幅に刷新、忍者ガイデン2の完全版として開発いたしました。綺麗なグラフィックでお楽しみいただけるのはもちろん、リュウハヤブサに加え、あやね、もみじ、レイチェルもプレイブルキャラクターとして登場します。そして本作は本日コンソール、PC、そして Xbox ゲームパスでこの後すぐに発売となります。忍者ガイデンシリーズを長年応援いただいている皆様はもちろんのこと、本日忍者ガイデンを知っていただいた皆様も忍者ガイデン4の発売前に本作をお楽しみください。
Yeah, you gotta be like at least 10 seconds ahead.
今年はチーム忍者創立30周年の節目であり、本日発表させていただいた忍者ガイデン4を含め2025年は忍者の年、イヤーオブザ忍者となります。ぜひ忍者ガイデンシリーズの展開にご注目ください。本日はありがとうございました。
Like I just started. I beat Ninja Gaiden 1. I was like, I'm gonna play 2 and then 3. I stopped. And now they got a definitive edition out today?
Yeah, that's coming coming this year in Game Pass, Ninja Gaiden 4. That's fucking crazy just to even hear that, man.
I got 2 and 3 I gotta play. Damn. I gotta play. Oh, I gotta download it now. Hold on. Get my Xbox app up.
So that was.
That could be like something that worked though. Yeah, no, that was a badass story. Damn.
Yeah.
That's a, to me, speaking to me.
Hi, and welcome to
So that's a
Compulsory
fifth
Games
game.
here in Montreal, Canada.
Nice.
At
That
our
might be
studio,
a
we
fifth.
care about world
Yeah, I
building.
mean that's a
I don't
big
think they count.
We
remaster.
treat the setting almost like
I
a
don't think they
character
count.
of its own.
Shadow
From the
Drop.
magical noir of contrast to the alternate
That is-
history
it
of
is a
Renaissance
shadow
hue,
drop.
we draw inspiration from the landscape to shape
A really good shadow
drama,
drop
and
too, with the
intrigue.
way that it looked.
It
For
looks
South
great.
of
I'm gonna
Midnight,
play
our
it.
third-person
looked
action-adventure
phenomenal. I
game,
didn't-
the story and characters bring a folkloric Deep South to life.
Anyway,
This gave us a
I'm
chance
excited
to
about this
explore
game.
Southern Gothic themes with a
100%.
dark fantasy twist. So while our protagonist Hazel is at the forefront of our story, it's the macabre elements and larger-than-life creatures that will leave a mark on her journey and growth.
It is really picking up out there. Did you pack everything?
Mama, this ain't my first hurricane. I know what to do.
As long as you didn't forget the
Flashlights and batteries.
Oh, shoot, we got 5 minutes. Let's go.
We won't be rushed if you didn't.
Don't mumble. Speak on it.
I said we wouldn't be rushed if you didn't waste all that time at the shelter.
Now, you want to bring this up right now.
I'm just saying.
Hazel, please.
fucking phenomenal.
We might need some help. I might need some help. While you're out helping everybody else.
Hazel!
Hazel may start her journey as a typical 19-year-old, but disastrous events will push her into a darkly magical world where she'll learn who she really is and how to tap into weaving. an ancient magical power that redefines her trajectory in life.
The land itself chooses Hazel as a weaver.
I really hope people don't overly
Someone who can
criticize
see
the game's
beyond
art
the
style.
surface and
Like,
tap
I really
into
do.
deeper reality.
'Cause it looks
The
phenomenal.
grand tapestry.
To me,
Weavers can see the fabric binding our worlds,
artistic.
connecting people, nature, and
Lot of
echoes of the past.
Keep those hands to yourself.
Hazel can perceive both the mystical strands and stigmas in the world. Through her newfound power, she reweaves these stigmas and mends the afflicted creatures she encounters.
As Hazel discovers her power, the world gradually shifts into the surreal, revealing that creatures from the old folktales actually exist.
You up here, my salvation.
Among them is good old Catfish, the storyteller who becomes both the guide and companion to Hazel across the game.
It ain't every day I hear about a new weaver such as yourself. Would you kindly do your weaver thing and help me down?
Meeting Catfish marks the true beginning of Hazel's journey. All of Hazel's arsenal and powers are designed around textile crafting and traditional spinning wheels. Her weapons include a spindle, 2 weaving hooks, and a distaff. Her magic abilities manifest with supernatural lace-like patterns, blending the traditional craft with mystical elements. Hazel engages with the world through a variety of movement abilities. Those abilities also help Hazel progress on a journey.
As her journey unfolds, Hazel will master new weaving abilities, using them to traverse the world, conjure objects, and confront adversaries.
Combat is about understanding and adapting to different enemy archetypes known as Aints, the manifestations of corruption Hazel encounters.
These Haints trap Hazel in combat until she unravels them, destroying them in the process.
Each Aint has its own unique moveset, strengths, and weaknesses that you'll need to learn and adapt to. For example, the slug burrows on the ground and unleashes devastating strikes from afar, while the Ravager closes the distance with chilling speed. Hazel can counter these threats with agile melee abilities to execute powerful combos, jump attacks, and charge attacks. But close combat is risky and can backfire because Aints have powerful defensive abilities. Mastering your magical skills becomes the key to gaining the upper hand in combat. Push, pull, and weave are some of the spells at your disposal that give you a tactical advantage during a fight. Timing is everything. Pull distant enemies close to start melee combos, push them back to interrupt and stun their attack. Then press the advantage with follow-up strikes. Spells interact uniquely with each enemy type, creating dynamic combat scenarios, especially when facing multiple types of opponents at the same time. Once near death, enemies can be unraveled, breaking their core and setting them free of their corruption, which has the added benefit of providing health boosts and reducing ability cooldowns. If you play your combos right, you can enhance Hazel's combat readiness and keep on chaining her abilities. As Hazel progresses in the game, she unlocks new moves and improved abilities, and you'll have to decide which areas to prioritize. The upgrades will change how you approach combat, like enhancing area of effect attacks, or refining push and pull skills to improve precision and make them feel more rewarding. The combat system is fast and responsive, built around chaining attacks, landing precise strikes, and unraveling enemies.
You mind if I take a look around?
You can see every place old Molly terrorized and more. Now for the low, low price of $1.
In Hazel's search for her mother, you'll explore multiple regions, each ruled by a mythical creature with their own Southern Gothic history. You'll gradually uncover the backstories of these beings, once human or animal, who were transformed by tragedy, their secrets waiting to be discovered. As a weaver, Hazel heals these creatures by collecting fragments of haunted memories. We call these echoes, which reveal each creature's past. Hazel must experience these echoes before she can mend them.
What kind of person would do that to someone?
We design each region to reflect the creature that's been doomed to wander it. From the atmospheric environment to unique music themes composed for each one. While not all encounters lead to direct combat, Hazel will need to face mythical creatures in epic confrontation before she can heal them. Our boss encounters and gameplay sequences also reflects the uniqueness of each creature, with distinct mechanics that center around a specific thematic. These encounters feature multiple phases that ramp up in complexity. As the encounters progress, the musical theme builds up, cranking the tension alongside the fight. Whether it's Two-Toed Tom or hugging Molly, each of these larger-than-life creatures is inspired by Southern folklore and lead to climactic battles.
We got a long journey ahead.
South of Midnight unfolds as a hero's journey, and as Hazel, you'll travel through a tapestry of Southern-inspired landscapes. From abysmal swamps to flooded farmlands to the Appalachian peaks. In our magical South, decaying buildings reclaimed by nature stand moments away from a hungry Rugal. And as Hazel delves deeper, reality bends ever more toward the fantastical.
The history, landscape, and folklore of the American Deep South fill our world, and our team has infused the game with thoughtful details and environmental storytelling, like our bottle trees and haint blue porches, which are said to ward off evil spirits. The Way to the Past emerges as central themes, which you can see through old abandoned buildings and businesses struggling to survive. As you explore, you'll meet locals who stayed behind even in the face of a hurricane.
So I'm the last person left here. All those damn haints. This part of the river's filthy with them.
Artistically, we're staying true to our Moody Compulsion signature style. But this time, we're using a handcrafted approach inspired by stop-motion animation, which allows our team to bring a distinct personality and tone into every prop and character. Because this folklore is open to visual interpretation, we embrace the freedom to reimagine these creatures and their stories, to adapt how they look, and to craft our own version of a fantastical Deep South.
At Compulsion Games, we love to craft around central themes. We are lucky to have talent across all our disciplines that collaborate to give South of Midnight such a unique personality. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into South of Midnight. We're thrilled to announce that the game will launch on April 8th, and pre-orders are now available on Xbox and Steam.
You're way into the future.
April 8th. Kind of re-cemented what the game is. I think I think that part of the thing is like we've all seen so much of South of Midnight already. It's like people just were ready for the game to come out. Yeah.
It's really good.
Bonjour everyone. We are Sunfall Interactive and welcome to our manor.
This is the one I was most excited
We are a small studio based in Montpellier, France, working on our first game, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. It's a turn-based RPG set in the fantasy version of late 19th century Belle Epoque France.
Here we are.
Our grand adventure in game development actually started as a solo passion project. I wanted to create something like the JRPGs with turn-based combat I grew up with and loved, but that fully leveraged the latest tech, refreshed the genre with new features, and took place in a compelling world. I knew I needed help to realize my dream. First, I turned to a programmer I knew would get it.
Guillaume and I started trading ideas right away, and that quickly turned into trading files back and forth. Soon, I was creating the first prototypes of the reactive turn-based system, combining real-time offense and defense elements and a cinematic battle camera system. Things really clicked when we tested the first version of those features. We felt we had something both challenging and fun.
As Tom and I went back and forth and iterated on game elements, a vision started to come together, and I shared it with an old friend from university.
Guillaume and I are both passionate gamers, and when he described the project, I quit my job the following week and joined the team without hesitation. Because I believe that in video games, success always starts with a strong creative vision. And we had that, defined by 3 core elements. A story with great emotional depth, gameplay that innovates on the classics we love, and a world that is completely original, beautiful, and immersive. We founded Central Interactive on these tenets: a group of friends with a shared vision and the drive to make something great.
This looks fucking good.
This
man.
too is your legacy.
Core to every great RPG is a compelling story. And Guillaume and I spent 4 years intensively developing and refining ours. And that started with the hook. 67 years ago, a massive slumbering paintress and a monolith appeared with no warning. Once a year, the paintress wakes and paints a number on her monolith, and everyone who has passed that age is erased. Every year that number ticks down, and everyone dies younger and younger. Expeditions depart to kill the paintress, determined to fight until their final breath, but none have ever returned. Our story follows Expedition 33.
Expeditioners, we honor your dedication.
Guillaume and I knew early on that we didn't want to focus on good versus evil.
I did
What's
too.
interesting to us are
They're
people
counting down
who
and everybody
are
beyond.
flawed,
That's
but
even
who care
worse.
deeply about each other. And conflicts arise because they have different perspectives on what needs to be done.
I'm sorry about that.
Graphics look so good.
We wanted our story to feel dark and mature, with adult characters who feel like real people with real experiences.
Some of you see like in a
I'm always
sci-fi
missing
movie.
something that everyone else just gets.
The heart of the story is about
Like a
overcoming
dystopian
an
thing.
existential threat while struggling with loss and grief. And it's rooted in the characters' relationships, both to each other and to themselves.
What are we gonna do, huh? Tell me. What are we gonna do?
In a world like this, how does one stay hopeful or make peace with their fate? What duty do we owe to each other or to ourselves? These questions are deeply personal to me, and they permeate the story behind the story.
Know that Lumiere fights with you. Tomorrow comes Expedition 33.
The characters all have their own motivations and perspectives. Gustave and Lune are deeply invested in the expedition, even if they fight all the time. To them, the mission is tied not only to their family, it's central to their identity and purpose.
Protocol doesn't cover every contingency. You know that.
Contrast that with Ciel, whose darkest days have already happened.
What are the stars whispering to you? Actually, I'm the one whispering to them. It's something my dad and I used to do.
And Maëlle, who cares more about really living her life, not just living longer.
Gustav, are you real?
It's not all dark, though. Along the way, they meet various colorful NPCs and recruit Monoko, who is a friendly but kinda bloodthirsty philosopher and a fully playable character. He has a really cool battle mechanic where he can turn into the enemies he defeats.
What are you doing?
Just need the foot. Aha!
He's very, very old and has seen many expeditions come and go. He is a Jest Troll, which are a group of playful beings who view battle as a form of meditation. They're fun and sort of ridiculous. You'll meet Monoko and many other Jest Trolls across the game.
Bonjour.
And of course, there is Estier, who is one of the oldest and lore-wise the most powerful creatures in the verse.
Estier is that powerful?
He will be your mount and help you travel to secret corners of the world. And if you bring him back his special stones, you can unlock abilities for him to access new areas of the world and find exciting secrets.
I'm strong, but I'm not that strong.
Everyone has their own reason for joining the expedition, and each of them has their own story arc and resolution that we think players will really connect with.
In addition to a strong narrative, we had a clear vision for our own take on the genre's core gameplay. Our reactive turn-based system takes the traditional turn-based battle mechanic we love and adds real-time reaction, which gives combat greater intensity and dynamism. During enemy turns, you can negate all damage by dodging or firing at the right time. But balancing turn-based with real-time mechanics took a long time to get right. During initial playtests, turn-based players often found the real-time elements too hard. Some of us are still traumatized by enemies from back then. We've done a lot of rebalancing since, and with a lot of iteration, we ultimately came up with a formula that we're proud of. Players who are good at real-time can take more risks, and others can counterbalance with items and strategies. A big part of that formula lies in the many ways you can customize your character. We spend a lot of time designing each character's unique mechanics and their custom skill trees. Our philosophy is making every type of playstyle viable so that everyone can have fun with how they play the game. Each character has a unique mechanic. Mel switches between stances which can ultimately boost defense or power. I personally like to make Mel the protector of the group, but I'm pretty much the only one at the studio who plays her that way. Most people play her as a glass cannon with Gustav's complementary skills. The characters can also equip hundreds of passive effects, which in our game are called Lumina.
Nice.
Every character has more than 20 unique skills in their skill tree and hundreds of passive effects they can gain through Lumina and weapons. So there are a ton of builds and playstyle to explore. Needless to say, we can't wait to see how you choose to play and what kinds of build you'll design that we probably never even imagined.
Going deep into the skill trees on a
Our story is set in a French fantasy world, and I was really excited
giving
to
you
design
more
something
control
unique.
of what your abilities and everything do. How
Every
you,
level
what you
has its
want
own
them to
color
do.
and texture identity. For example,
like
the
that.
Gestural Village is an early area in the game where players can enjoy a fun break. We wanted something that feels chaotic, grungy, and toy-like. It's basically a bazaar. Everything's disorganized, chaos everywhere, huts are unsafe, built without much thought. It's a place where anyone could fight you at any point, which is pretty much what the Gestrals are like. The Gestural Village is hidden inside the ancient sanctuary. The ideas here were forest, labyrinth, and sentinels. I designed it as a vibrant place, like an old graveyard of Gestrals, or forgotten wooden toys in a box, with two main colors, red and white. I wanted to make it feel cozy, hidden from danger, with traps and labyrinths in case enemies get in. Same process with the characters. Minoko came in a single concept. I thought of a monkey-like body, white fur with a black and red flat mask.
Ladies, could I?
Ow!
Definitely a Gestral.
For Eske, we needed a cuddly companion to take us around the world. I thought instantly of a giant inflatable balloon and old Victorian pillows with many intricate motifs. We start with the core themes and ideas, and the visuals grow organically from there.
From the very start of the project, there was one thing that we absolutely wanted to bring back from older JRPGs. A feature we really loved, but is very rare these days. A completely 3D and navigable world map. Yes, we've got a world map. And it was a real challenge to create, both artistically and technically. And it ended up a lot bigger than we expected. You'll definitely need Eske's help traveling around.
Here we go!
We're super happy with the result, though, as there's a lot of side paths and entire
Holy
hidden
hell.
levels.
Yeah, that
If you
reminds
want
me
to
of,
fight
like,
the toughest bosses
Final
of the
Fantasy
game,
IX.
you will have to explore. Good luck.
We've poured our hearts and souls into this game for the past 4 years. That's why we're delighted to announce that Expedition 33 launches on April 24th on Xbox Series X and S and is available day one with Xbox Game Pass. You can already wishlist the game and follow us for more info.
We are super excited to invite you into the world of Expedition 33.
South of
We are a
Midnight in the
small,
beginning,
passionate
and
team.
then this,
It's our
towards
debut
the
game,
end.
and we can't wait for you to discover our stories,
Ooh,
our
in 1
world,
month.
and our take on the turn-based genre. On behalf of everyone at Sunfall, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow comes.
Demain viendra.
Tomorrow comes.
Demain viendra.
Demain viendra.
Tomorrow comes.
Ninja Gaiden Black 2 for January. Avowed February. What's in March?
Adam Fall.
Adam Falls March?
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Dallas, Texas, home of id Software. Where more than 30 years ago, a small team of game developers helped define and set a course for first-person shooters. A lot has changed since then, but our team is as passionate as ever.
May 15th.
And the most important values at the core of our games, innovation, craftsmanship, and performance, remain a priority for us to this day.
And as you're about to see, those values are infused in every aspect of this latest installment in the legendary Doom franchise. It is an honor to work on this game, to carry on id's tradition of creating all-out, groundbreaking levels of fun.
So now, we're excited to share with you a look at our most ambitious game yet. This is Doom: The Dark Ages.
That was so stupid, I mouthed the words.
You know what's crazy about id? They're probably the most optimized studio in the industry. It is ridiculous.
In Doom: The Dark Ages, you will feel like the superweapon in the center of a medieval war against hell. Set in a cinematic sci-fi fantasy world full of locations to explore, powerful weapons to unlock, and enemies to conquer. This is a prequel to Doom 2016, and that's given us the opportunity to reimagine every aspect of this experience. So if you're new to the franchise, then Doom: The Dark Ages will be the perfect entry point into the series. And if you're a longtime fan, then you'll be proud to see, in a lot of ways, the feel of the game is really a return to form. So let's break it down, starting with the combat. In Doom Eternal, you felt like a fighter jet. In Doom: The Dark Ages, you'll be an iron tank. Heavy, strong, but still fast.
I like the way they did that.
A grounded combat system with an emphasis on power over the acrobatics of Doom Eternal. And a balance between enemy projectiles and player movement speed that makes strafing to aim viable again. Just like in the classic Doom games. But it's not all about nostalgia. Innovation is the goal, always. And so for Doom: The Dark Ages, it's an all-new world with new tools and new mechanics to master. Let me introduce you to the shield saw. Block. Throw. Parry. Deflect. All from one input. It's contextual, tons of depth on a single button press. You know, we want every Doom game to stand on its own as a unique experience. So in 2016, we asked you to run and gun. In Doom Eternal, it was jump and shoot. And in Doom: The Dark Ages, you're gonna stand and fight. And the shield saw will give you the strength to go head to head with some of the biggest, baddest demons we've ever created at id. But that's not all. Because if you're gonna stand and fight, then you gotta have something to follow up that opening parry with. How about an iron flail? Or maybe an electrified gauntlet? Or even a Doom spiked mace? That's right, we have 3 melee options that are part of a melee system. All on one input, complete with combos and upgrades. And it's totally awesome. And you can finish off the demons now with an all-new, unsynced, completely in the player's control glory kill system. From any angle, in and out, as you see fit. And it feels amazing. You'll feel unstoppable, smashing your way through the horde with total freedom. And that seems like a ton, but that's just 2 inputs. We got one more really important button that we haven't talked about yet.
They're not gonna bring back the get in them face and tear their face apart. I like that.
That's right, we've saved the best for last. Doom has and always will be all about the guns. And Dark Ages has some of the most ridiculously powerful weapons that we've ever created.
BFG?
Mean. Ancient. Brutal torture machines built to butcher, impale, and shred the minions of hell with. only in Doom. That's the mission statement for the design of these never-before-seen, insanely fun-to-use tools of mayhem that only the Slayer has the power to wield.
That's what I'm talking
So let's take a look at some extended gameplay footage and see how these medieval mechanics synergize with the enemies and the environments to form the new combat loop for Doom: The Dark Ages.
I hope you can still execute some of that. Oh, what the? You can teleport to your shield? Hey, yo.
And under the hood, for the first time in an id game, we've made our combat more
Definitely
approachable
easy,
and flexible than ever before, with a new difficulty system and sliders that will allow players to tune the speed and challenge of the game to whatever fits them best.
Wow,
you can slow things down or speed them up. It's a Doom for all Slayers.
And the gameplay doesn't end with just the Slayer. We finally have for you, you've been waiting for 2 games now, to get in and pilot your very own 30-story Atlan, which is a mech. It's the size of a building, it's powerful, and you can beat giant Titan-sized demons to death with your gauntleted fists. And if that wasn't enough, we also have for you your very own fire-breathing, Gatling gun-toting cybernetic dragon. Neither of these are one-and-done features either. They have a full suite of abilities and even mini-bosses. The spectacle is epic. The Power Fantasy is unlike anything we've made it in. And the combat systems behind these features are deep and tons of fun. And as cool as all that is, we know that fans of single-player action games expect more than just great combat to pull them through the experience. So we're excited to share with you not just the gunplay, but the world of Doom: The Dark Ages. Your hero's journey will take you to the far reaches of the Doom universe. Mysterious worlds from the Slayer's past, dark forests, dungeons, ancient hellscapes, battlefields, and worlds beyond. And through exploration, you'll be unlocking new abilities and godlike powers every step of the way. Now armed with your trusty shield saw, you're gonna cut, leap, and smash your way through environments full of secrets and treasures. There's always something new waiting to be discovered or destroyed. Now let's take a closer look at just one of the many missions you'll experience in Doom: The Dark Ages. In this level, you will meet the enemy at the gates and save a city from certain destruction.
Bob says this looks sick.
Explore the medieval battlefield outside the castle walls, seeking out targets and enemy formations along the way to engage with as you see fit, with any gun you choose. Explore what is the largest play space ever in a Doom game, discovering secret caves and dungeon-like mines in search of vital resources. You control the pace of the game. Where you go, who you fight, and the objectives you pursue.
Like more open, exploratory and stuff.
It's a Doom sandbox full of war and riches. Once you've broken the enemy assault, head back to the main gates because the battle isn't over yet.
Oh, that's going to be a new intro cinematic.
And the soundtrack to your epic adventures will be composed by the award-winning team at Finishing Move, providing you with a metal soundscape that's loaded with guitars, medieval vibes, and pure adrenaline. You'll feel like you're expanding the legend of the Slayer with every mission you complete. And speaking of that legend, the story of Doom: The Dark Ages, like everything else in the game, is big. It's a summer blockbuster event with everything on the line, and you are the star of the show. Your power is coveted by your enemies and withheld from your allies. With the Slayer imprisoned at the start of our story, the balance of power between good and evil is shifting, and time is running out. It's a new story and the perfect entry point for new players. It's easier to access now as we've taken the narrative out of the codex and into the cutscenes, featuring new characters, old allies, and powerful new villains. And for returning players, it leads directly into the Doom 2016 Slayer's Testaments. It's an action story worthy of the Slayer's legend.
We've got 10 years of making modern Doom games together, and we've done better with every game we've made.
The hope with all this, the goal, is to give players an experience that's as fun to play as it was to make, and make something that's good enough to become the best game id has ever made.
But that is for you to decide. When Doom: The Dark Ages releases,
it's May! May 15th. That date was right. Wow. Oh, here we go. What's next? Is there anything else? Is that it?
I cannot move.
This is so You will feel like the superweapon in the center of a medieval war against hell.
Ninja Gaiden was the Ninja
All
Gaiden 2
of
Black
Hazel's
was the one.
powers are designed around textile crafting and spinning wheels. The combat system is built around chaining attacks and unraveling enemies.
Our reactive turn-based system has a real-time reaction, which gives combat greater intensity and dynamism.
忍具やシリーズおなじみの体術など忍者アクションを駆使して乗り越えていくことになります。
皆様に進化した忍者ガイデンを触っていただける日を楽しみにしています。
Plus 4 games / 5. Wait, what happened? The audio went out.
I hear you.
Yeah, no, like on the stream. It just like the audio stopped. You would think they would have some kind of background music while the video's still playing. It's interesting. Okay. Anyway. All right. So we got Ninja Gaiden was the surprise. And then a surprise shadow drop of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black today. Which is also, I think they said, in Game Pass. For a shadow drop. And fall 2025 Ninja Gaiden 4. What'd you guys think of Ninja Gaiden? Steel, I want to get Steel's opinion on it because you're more like the action game player, I would say. That's your thing. Action games, Souls games, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What'd you feel?
For me, it reminded me of a few different games. DMC for sure, but also Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance as well. Again, it seems like they're definitely pulling from a lot that they've learned over the years, and see that they're also, it's Koei Tecmo and Platinum together. It gives me a lot of hope, especially from what we've seen, how kind of adventurous it felt and how over the top it felt in combat as well. It essentially was all the things that I was hoping that it would be when forgot who it was that made the comment earlier when they were like, oh, well, you know, how do you make Ninja Gaiden for the modern era? And I was like, I mean, I think that was the best representation. How you bring in a younger main character. It's very similar to what they did with DMC4, which is why a lot of people, I think, like DMC4 as well, because you brought in a younger protagonist that can kind of give a different perspective versus what you had been following with Dante the entire time with Nero. And in this aspect, you have forget the main character, that character's name in this one, but you have the same kind of dichotomy. Something else is, we know that Ryu Hayabusa is not this evil dude, right? At least from what I have witnessed. Now, I'm going to go play Ninja Gaiden 2 Black now, because Ninja Gaiden 2 is where I left off. So that was really dope to see as well. But it seems like a true experience, that next step forward for Ninja Gaiden, which is really dope to see. And I think that's going to be, again, with the game being on Game Pass as well, that's a guaranteed, like, regardless how people look at it, like, people are going to sign up, people are going to buy it. Like, again, those are the type of, like, mature styled games that people ask for, and got put on the table. So I'm extremely excited for it. I want to see them do more of that, man. That's what I mean by, like, yes, that is from the East as well. I guess that would count for some of that, but that's what I mean, though, man. Dig into that action bag, dig into that JRPG bag, kind of what they're doing with Clair as Expedition as well. But just focusing on Ninja Gaiden, man, it's so much more than I could have expected, because I didn't know where they could have gone with it, but it literally did a lot of the thing. It literally is going the direction I think is going to be really dope for people who are interested. So
yeah, man. It looked like classic Ninja Gaiden, but like I could definitely see Platinum Games influence in this too, like with the games that they made before. But it just looks fast. I saw like a lot of throwbacks to different kinds of elements from the past games, but it's like faster, right? And a little bit more open, it seems like, and stuff, and in different areas. So, Fuzzy, Ninja Gaiden, is it did it tickle your fancy?
Oh yeah, the dismemberment was the key thing. They didn't shy away from keeping that in the game. And I think that was probably the big thing. Me being like a slasher gamer kind of thing, I just love the fact that you can hack and slash and you'll see pieces flying off and you got the blood spatter on the screen. Yeah, that probably makes me sound like a psychopath or something. But I just love the fact that it has the feel of the original, or like the old school ones, but you could tell they've updated the visuals. It is it looks like what I would say. Like, I agree with you. It'd be a faster pace overall, but yeah, just the sheer violence in that game. I think this is what's going to draw a lot of people to that title, and I wouldn't say it's missing from a lot of modern games, because Doom definitely has its own version of violence in there as well. But yeah, I just love the fact that it's kind of like that classic video game where you weren't going to tell your parents kind of thing what exactly was in the game so they can get it for you kind of deal. But yeah, no, I love the fact that the dismemberment, the sheer like combos and all that's in this game. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and when they did the one more thing and they were showing like the other thing, I was like, this is another brand new Ninja Gaiden game? Like when they were showing it, because like it was, I recognized some stuff, but I'm not. It's been so long, But the visuals were so good that I was thinking, like, what are they doing? They're going ahead and revealing some other kind of spinoff or something else, and then it ended up being a UB5 remaster with brand new visuals of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is like, to many, one of the best action games ever made. Right, so to get that also shadow drop today for that update, which looks like a new game, like visually, what they were showing.
Yeah,
I was like, this looks almost better. Like, it looks better visually than like the Ninja Gaiden 4, like in a lot of ways. And I was looking at it, and I was like, what is this? So yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy to see. They're bringing this franchise back in a big way. You can see too, because they, like you mentioned, also they have the Metroidvania game that they're doing, which looks really good to me. They have now this, which is going to be in Game Pass, so a lot of people are going to play it, right? And they just had the a remake or remaster drop day and date today in Game Pass, right? So yeah, they're like, Koei Tecmo seeing all these action games doing great out there and stuff. They're like, well, we kind of like maybe helped to really kickstart this genre way back in the day. Maybe we should get involved again, with one of our classic franchises. Twerk.
Yeah.
And they got it, man. They seem like they kind of nailed it. It was interesting seeing Platinum Games, because this is Xbox Game Studio Publishing as well. So they're helping publish this game.
That's what's
and
crazy
seeing Platinum
about it.
too, like, the history of Scalebound and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's just it's a little interesting.
Xbox
now.
publishing it is the most surprising, because that means that this has been working in the background for quite some time. Because I don't think Ninja Gaiden is Ninja Gaiden originally in Unreal Engine at all? I didn't think so.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it like probably use their own stuff. Yeah, this is Xbox Game Studios Publishing. So
that is crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was.
So it's like what they did. Did they just give Last Ronin to Sony just because, and they had this working in the background the entire time? Like, this is kind of like our one-off kind of thing, and that's why they haven't got Rise of the Ronin over? Because this would be kind of more important to them. They got their own deals going on. I don't know. That's kind of cool, though. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It would be weird. Have they made any other announcements on platforms, on social media or anything?
For what?
For Ninja Gaiden?
It's coming to everything, I thought.
Yeah, I would assume so.
I'm trying to find everything.
I would assume so. It's just like interesting that it's Game Studios Publishing. Like, this kind of opens up other territory too, where you would see like third-party published games from Xbox in the past be exclusives, because that's the reason to do the deal, right? But now it's like, hey, we're doing the deal to put it in Game Pass, and also we're still gonna put it everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
It's Series X, PlayStation 5, and PC.
Yeah, so like Xbox Game Studio
Ninja Gaiden 4.
Publishing, but like a multi-plat release. It's just weird because third party, that's never been the case really on those kind of deals, right? But it seems like it will be now. So,
but with it going everywhere, I mean, if the game is as hot as I think it's going to be, then I mean, again, you're also looking at a potential with Xbox publishing it. They're going to get more of the money up front if it does blow up, if it is a big seller, right? Even if whatever platform that it's on, Xbox is going to be getting the majority of that money because of that publishing deal.
So it sounds like a win-win for the developers, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
100%.
and you can see why, like, okay, these companies and the studios are people say, well, the people don't want to put their games on Xbox anymore, all that stuff. It's this kind of shit that helps them make that decision easy. Like, you know what I mean? Like they can put their game wherever. They can still get a bag for Game Pass and all this other kind of stuff, but you're not limiting sales, and it's bringing like a classic franchise like this back in more ways than one now, So it's awesome. At the beginning too, also you notice it said at the beginning of this whole thing, all the games.
I didn't notice it.
All the games will feature. I want to get to what they said is specifically because they're trying to drive that home a little bit by actually featuring that, which I've never seen them do that before, specifically with their messaging before a show.
Yeah.
So like it said, all games you're about to see are in development and do not represent final products. Okay. That's normal. All games are available on day one with Game Pass, setting the precedent there for us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And all games support, this is the one, all games support Xbox Play Anywhere and Xbox Cloud Gaming.
That's the other crazy thing.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to be playable anywhere?
On the cloud, if you, buy once.
That's
play
cool,
on Xbox
bro.
consoles and Xbox app on PC with cross saves and cross progression, right? And this is the kind of shit that, like, I'm just highlighting this because for me, this is something that makes Xbox special, like that nobody else is really doing right.
Yeah.
And they're promoting it, putting an emphasis on it at the beginning of the show. And I think it's because this is also features that a lot of people don't ever fucking talk about.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how do we get people to understand that we're the only ones doing this shit, really? You know what I mean? So putting it here at the beginning I'm hoping people see that, take notice, and this is stuff that we can hope to ask for other publishers and other developers, other platform holders to please implement for us, because we get to play. You buy the game or you subscribe to it in Game Pass. You can play it anywhere you want in the cloud. You can play it on PC. You play it on your Xbox, and your save just goes with you in everywhere. That's what we should ask for consumers in a digital ecosystem. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way it should be. So props to them for highlighting it. And yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4 will launch this year with all those features as a third-party game, right? Pretty awesome.
Expedition 33 is another one that's going to be really dope for on the cloud for people to play anywhere. It being more turn-based. I don't know how the action kind of defense mechanisms are going to work over the cloud. I mean, maybe it'll be a little bit better by that time, but even in consideration, you can still play it like a traditional JRPG as well. And I can see people having a blast with that. That one actually, Expedition 33 actually is impressed me more than I was anticipating it to. Because again, I'm already kind of, coming off of Ninja Gaiden. I'm already kind of like stand backish because it's turn-based games, but they are literally implementing, and that's what turned me on about it the first time. But they're literally implementing something that I've been kind of asking for out of that genre. Like, hey, maybe what would pull me back in is it being more of that active kind of thing, that skill expression as they kind of described it, right? Where you can, hey, if you want to rely on items, you can, but if you have the skill, you can parry, you can do all these different things. There's additional buttons that you can hit. There's just a lot of variety in there, and I think that's going to be another one that hopefully people don't sleep on. But I think it's going to be another one that's really going to be a standout and going to have people people excited to possibly jump in and try it.
Yeah, man. That was the one I was most excited to see more of, and I think what grabbed me the most, I'm gonna go to you on this, Fuzz, was the story for Expedition 33. Just looks like that's like a crazy world that they bring to life that's completely original, right? I don't know if they took ideas from places before, but it's just like, hey, let's make our own shit, not inspired by or anything like this. It's like, come up with something completely brand new, and it's hard for people to come up with new stuff these days, but it seems like they really did it with Expedition 33.
Yeah, that countdown to death, I guess, for whatever generation that one creature wipes their board and does the countdown, and they all like magically disappear. They get snapped into the oblivion kind of thing. I just like the concept, and then it's a faster pace type of turn-based. Like it's got all the elements and the visuals to grab my attention, to get me into playing or at least giving that game a try. It's the same thing that kind of like a Dragon did a couple of years back when that released. It's like, I'm not really the biggest turn-based guy, but I just like how there's more of these types of games that are building on like an old style genre and modernizing it. And this one with all the different abilities and how you can play the characters, whether you want to use one of the characters in your party as a healer, as the one guy that was doing the announcing did, and he was like the only one in the studio that plays that one character that way. It's like I love having that freedom and variety of how you can mix up your party members and how you can build up or build out their abilities and things. But an awesome concept. Like the closest thing I've ever seen, and I can't remember the name of the movie now, but it's like where basically once you turn 40, you're a fugitive, or you're supposed to, be taken out kind of thing. And this almost sounds in a way similar to that, but instead of it being that you're running away hiding from the authorities, you're actually going after this entity that's doing all of this. And none of the other previous expeditions have come back, and you're on this one. And some interesting party members, the balloon guy, and I guess the monkey with the I guess it's almost like a mace or something that he had with his sickle at the end of it. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game, and I'm curious to see how people set up their party as far as their abilities and things. But yeah, I love the look of it. Love the just the concept behind the story, and then the environments. Like they were talking about, like I guess it's like almost like an old guard area where it's like it's mainly like red and white, but it's like just imagine having like mechs or guardians in an area, and it's like, oh, at any moment something can jump out and attack you kind of thing. But I just love how creative their environments are and how chaotic some of them are. But yeah, this is definitely going to be one that I sink some time into.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah, I mean, me too, for sure. I think it's my most exciting thing is whenever I see the actual turn-based combat, because like it just looks engaging. But the skill tree that they showed, how you can like really make crazy unique builds and stuff, like that's expanding what you have systems like that with Final Fantasy and stuff. Like you had Materia and Final Fantasy 7 and all these other kind of things, right? That kind of allow you some good directions to go in, but not anything that looks anything like as expansive as what we're seeing with that, where they're just have this huge screen that you can just go wherever you want with it. So I'm excited to see how unique the characters can actually play in that as well, for what kind of where you want to lead them into, like, so
Quick shout out to Ducato. The movie I was talking about was Logan's Run. When you turn 40, it's like you got to be out of here kind of thing.
Right.
So this is like a different take, but I love how this is how that story builds up, and that's why you're going after this creature and stuff like that. So yeah, this thing is going to be awesome.
Yeah, there was a movie that had I think it had Justin Timberlake in it actually, but it was like
the timer thing.
Yeah, people's like use age as a currency.
Yeah.
It's like you have a certain amount of years or something, and like you can use it as to pay for things and stuff. So it's like the wealthy are super young, right? And then like the poor people are getting old and sick. It's an interesting take on it, because if you're wealthy, then you can just keep on living forever.
Yeah.
It is weird movie, interesting concept. But anyway, it's cool to see interesting new concepts and games and stuff, and bringing that kind of a thing to an old school style of turn-based combat, but twisting that on its head and making it look fun and engaging and new. Also, that's awesome. And in April as well. So that's in April. And also this one is in April, South of Midnight. Like South of Midnight, I thought showed great. I just feel like I've seen so much of it already. It's like I keep seeing the same things. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like cool. They showed more music. They showed more characters. They showed a little bit more of the world that you're going to be exploring. Talk to some of the developers about the combat and stuff. So what did you think of the combat and stuff, Steel, with South of Midnight?
I was kind of looking to see if I could find Ninja Gaiden in some of that time. But from what I was looking over to see about South of Midnight, it's definitely more. What's the word for it? It's definitely more involved than Kano was, as an example. And before this presentation, I thought it was going to be more simple like Kano was. And again, nothing against the game. Kano is a very beautiful, good story, well-playing game. But this seems to be definitely with the different mechanics that they have, the whole string mechanics and the way the magic works, and them also kind of saying, hey, we're kind of focusing on a combo system. Like it is meant for you to kind of combine different things and be paying attention to what's going on. Also, them having multiple enemies that you got to deal with as well, right? Pulling away from the big bosses and more so just the engagements that you're going to end up having is really appealing to me. Again, I'm still trying to debate whether I want to stick with the stop motion style, because they did say as an accessibility option, you will have the option to turn it off or on in gameplay. Right. So I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with that. I kind of want to leave it on just to kind of add to that flair that they were already going for, because it looks really unique. I just need to get it. I need to get it in hand to see how it's going to feel, because that stop motion, at least how I'm picturing it. I can't think of another game that I've played that has stop motion animation, and how that would apply to combat or how that would work. Because like my first thing is like, is it going to, because of what you're visually seeing and input, is there something going to be off about that that's going to want to make me change over to not being stop motion? But again, they developed the game with that in mind, so I would imagine that all those things are taken care of. So it seems very intuitive, seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I can see some people getting frustrated by it, possibly as well, saying that, this game is ass because it's doing too much, or like it's trying to be something that it's not. I can see some people trying to make that. Or again, like, I think it's going to be another huge standout, especially for representation of the South. It's looking really dope. Combat wise, voice acting wise, world building wise. It's extremely interesting. And I think this most recent presentation solved it pretty darn well for anybody that's like on the fence or trying to find out more so what it is. Because I think it was Fuzzy that mentioned it earlier. Like, now you for sure know what it's going to be, like what it is. There's no question. But I can see it now. Oh, well, they're stop motion and, Xbox doing creative stuff, man. It's not quality. It doesn't meet the quality bar. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's like the game is what it is, right? So it's like either you're gonna this is going to be one of those games. It's like either you love it or it's just not for you, right? And I think that ultimately it's one I'm gonna try and have fun with and play through, and we'll see how it grabs me. But like the story and the world is the most intriguing thing for me with this. It's just I haven't seen many games take on this kind of setting, right? What did you think of the showing of South of Midnight, Fuzz?
Just love more of the detail they gave on the environments, some of the additional characters, and like, I guess the backstory against the bosses. You're going to have to find some of their story notes, and it'll explain, I guess, some of the trauma that maybe that boss went through and what made them what they are, type of deal. Because there was like one scene they just briefly showed. It looked like somebody had set something in a bear trap or something along those lines. So I guess you have to kind of like either not just heal the area, but heal the boss to some extent, as far as finding their memories to maybe make it easier to either defeat them or something along those lines. But I just love the lore that they're using, as far as like I forget what they're referred to as, but it's like the same thing here in like the New Jersey Devil or like Loch Ness Monster and stuff like that, where you have these entities based on like old wives' tales or like lore of like local legends and things like that, and you're facing off against those. Plus, they're like mini bosses, or the Haints, I guess, as they refer to them. All while there's like a hurricane and whatnot that's ravaging the area. So it's like there's a lot to this, but I think the scenery for me is going to be the big thing. So it's going to be one, getting through the story, playing through, and then probably also using photo mode. I hope they have a dedicated photo mode. I'm assuming they do, just based on some of those environments and the lighting and stuff like that. So I could see me spending a lot of time in photo mode after I complete the story. But I'm really looking forward to the story, because if they have like the one thing that looked like it was a kind of like a woodpecker / chicken monster or whatever. Yeah, I'm looking forward to battling some of those, and the alligator, man, that his nose is partially broken off, and the tail just is going to pretty much knock you out the ring, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. The character designs are crazy in this game. So it's gonna be one thing will be for sure when you play South of Midnight. Like, there won't be something else you've played that's just like South of Midnight, So and then we got Doom: The Dark Ages. This was actually it's like everything I could hope for Doom to be is what they're doing with Doom: The Dark Ages. It sounds like. It's like more exploratory, more open in areas. You have less crazy. Like you can adjust the speed to your liking. One thing, it's pretty cool, right? But it's like it just seems like it's more grounded in a lot of ways, with being a kind of a true Doom experience than as opposed to maybe the last one that I felt like I was at times just jumping all over the damn place and stuff like that, right? Like this one, it seems like, okay, like they said, you're kind of like a fucking tank, you know. You got this armor, you're going around, you have badass guns, you're just shooting everything in your way. You know, you got the shield to block and then shred things. You got so many cool looking mechanics there. They mentioned more about how the mech and the dragon levels are kind of fully fleshed out and stuff also. So yeah, dude, Doom: The Dark Ages was just like wow to wow to wow to wow to wow all the way through. And I was like, I could have just kind of been checked out during Doom because I wasn't as into the last couple games. But this one is like, it's got me, bro. It's got me.
Yeah, I fell off of Doom Eternal. I played it probably, maybe I got halfway, but I ended up falling off of it. And I didn't play the Doom before that either. I think that one had multiplayer, unfortunately, I didn't get any time into there. I was probably playing something different. This one, with it being more grounded, being more versatile, and again, it's the difficulty in Doom doesn't necessarily bother me because I play on higher difficulty a lot of the time anyway. But this one, especially when they were saying, oh, you know, the shield, you're gonna be able to do a lot of stuff with the shield with one button. You're gonna be able to do these melee combos with one button. You know, some people may be turned off by that, but I think for me, because Doom can already be a complex game, especially in the action, there's a lot going on. Like I did notice that was one of the turnoffs for me about Doom Eternal. It's like, okay, well, this boss has this shield and this boss has this shield, and now we're gonna introduce all these other enemies that have all these other mechanics while you fighting this bosses, and they can jump to you, and then they can uppercut you and instantly kill you, and then if you gotta switch to this weapon to get its shield down, and then you swap real quick, and it's like, bro, this is cool, but you're doing a lot. You're asking a lot. And then I got to jump up here and I'm platforming. Like I'm doing a lot. But I know it did really well from how people have talked about it. And it's extremely optimized. So going into this game for Doom: The Dark Ages, I mean, you had me at mech. Like that's all I needed to see. Mech and flying dragon. Oh, well, fuck. I guess I'm playing Doom. God damn it. I'll play it day one if I can. Right. So extremely cool, knowing that it's a prequel as well to the 2016 Doom is also really cool. Because it's again, like, well, they did say it leads directly into it. That does make me wonder, is this going to be their last Doom game? Right? Because it's like, from here, where do you go? You can't go back again, and you can't necessarily go forward from what I saw from Doom Eternal. So are they putting everything that they can into this one and they're going to move on, or what's their next goal? But I'm really interested with this kind of taking it back to, hey, let's make you feel heavy. Still got some quickness to you. I do think it's unfortunate. I hope they didn't remove it because I did like the execution kills in Doom Eternal. They didn't vary enough, right? I hope they didn't take it out of here, because they didn't show it at all. Because in Doom Eternal, when the enemies start flashing and you getting ready to execute them, like he runs up on them, punch them in the mouth, rip their tongues out, he's ripping their heads apart. In this one, it was like, oh, let me 3-piece you and you fly away. Like it was kind of like, on that aspect, it felt like a little like a downgrade. I was like, really? Like at least make it an optional thing. Hey, you can choose to execute or, you know, and do that special finisher, or you can do kind of like the 3-piece or whatever thing that they were doing, or whatever way to dispose of the enemy. So it's kind of up and down but I think it's going to be really cool to check out, and hopefully other people were excited about it. I saw a lot of people in the Xbox chat really like Like, oh snap, Doom is like, this is the greatest it's ever been.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it looks exciting for me. It's like it's just combining the elements I like. Part of the thing that made the old school games like that, whether it be Doom or Duke Nukem or whatever, because these were doing as much as they could at the time, what they were, but they had that exploration element, looking for the key cards, backtracking, finding something, little secret areas, all these other kind of things. And I always had kind of wondered, what is that going to evolve into or whatever. And they kind of shooter games got away from it completely, right? Doom kind of brought it back the last couple games, more so with 2016 than Eternal, I feel like. And they kind of paying a homage to it in this. They had like the yellow key card around somebody's neck with the chain, right? But it doesn't have to be just so much like, hey, go into this room, get a key card, unlock this door or whatever. But like evolving it in this way of exploring and finding secrets and stuff is the key element to what that was always about, unlocking new pathways and stuff. So that sounds or seems amazing for what they talked about with being more open and exploring in this shooter. So I'm hoping that's what we're doing. Is I'm going to be finding secrets, unlocking things that give me new abilities or some kind of secret gun or something like that, right? And that would be absolutely amazing. So anyway, yeah, man. Fuzzy, what did you think of the Doom the Dark Ages?
Loving the shield, loving the saw blades to it, and I'm gonna figure out how to power that thing up, because like Steel had made mention during the stream, it's like they just took out a squad with the shield alone,
bro.
So it was like it bounced between them and just decapitate all of them. Like I want that ability right off the rip, but I just love the fact that they made the adjustability, because kind of like what Steel said, the game, especially if you play on the harder difficulty, can be overwhelming at times. You can adjust it how you see fit, and it's more of like the old style where you're strafing more. Not as much as the platforming. There looks like there's still an element of that, but the main focus is going to be timing your parries, throwing your shield, and then I love the fact that they have the melee and the different types of melee and things like that. At the bone gun, or skull gun, or however you want to talk about it.
That thing was insane.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. That's the game when you had a bad day or just want to let off some steam. Yeah, that's the game you pick up and play, and I just love the fact that they kept it in their normal style, as far as obliterate everything in front of you, and then focus on some of the bosses as far as their abilities and the color coding and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't wait. It's not going to be the first game I pick up, but like if it's coming in May, I think it was May 25th ish or something.
May 15th.
I think that was May 15th.
Yeah.
That's like perfect timing. I don't think there's anything else in that month that I was already looking forward to. So yeah, it'll give me plenty of time to hop in. But man, that game looks awesome, and they're the kings of optimization. And I'm hearing 120 frames available on Series X. So
that would be crazy.
I mean, crazy. All right. So May 15th for Doom. All right, let's go through this, right? Because Sin in the chat was asking me to reiterate the first party release cadence for the first half of the year here. So we got, for first party, you have Avowed, then you have South of Midnight, and then you have Doom, right? All 1, 2, 3. So you have Avowed February 18th, South of Midnight, I think it was April 8th. One of them was April 8th, the other one was April 20 something.
Expedition was later April.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then May 15th for Doom the Dark Ages. So that's 3 first party games within 3 months. Between February and May, right? So yeah, man, that's pretty crazy. But if you expand it to beyond that, then you add Ninja Gaiden 2 Black remastered today in Game Pass.
January,
You talk about Atom Falls in March, right? You talk about Expedition 33 is in April. We're looking at, as Josh Muncie had posted, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black out today, Avowed February 18th, South of Midnight April 8th. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 would be April the 20th something, because he forgot to mention that one on his tweet. And then Doom the Dark Ages May the 15th. I didn't include
leading up to the showcase.
I don't think I mentioned Atomfall in March 27th. Also,
yeah, you said it once. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, what is that, like 5 or 6 pretty damn big games all every month, pretty much, leading into the showcase season, when we're gonna find out the second half
even
releases.
more.
Yeah, and Ninja Gaiden got a fall 2025 for Ninja Gaiden 4. We know Fable's supposed to be this year. We know
maybe got delayed.
Outer Worlds 2 is supposed to be this year.
Yeah.
There'll be a new Call of Duty of some form, right? That's 3. Do we count Ninja Gaiden?
I really hope they don't release Call of Duty, but
it's first party if it's published by Xbox. Like, I don't know how that works with that classic franchise.
I mean, that's how people do it. I mean, technically, that's what the
strange
case is with Helldivers too, right? That's what the case is with Helldivers.
Yeah, it'd be like Silent Hill 2. Also, would be like a good example, right? Too. Because it's Konami, classic franchise coming back.
Yeah,
you know,
it'll be kind of the same thing as being published by Xbox. Like, that is Xbox throwing their hat in the ring. It's kind of like, because did Stellar Blade have publishing by Sony as well?
Stellar Blade? They bought, I think they actually got they got the publishing rights and removed the Xbox release.
So in that case, I mean, everybody else would include it as far as like the first party cadence.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting because like Ninja Gaiden, you know, it was weird seeing that Xbox games publishing down there. Maybe it could be a co-publishing deal too. Don't really know how.
Maybe,
it works, right? But yeah, it's what a loaded year, man. First half is super strong. I mean, we haven't had since.
This is probably the strongest year within like the last 5 years, honestly. Beginning of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
not to mention the Assassin's Creed in between in March as well.
Since Hellblade 2 of last year, going forward, I mean, there's been a pretty good steady cadence and stuff.
Pretty damn consistent.
You had Age of Mythology. You had
no, that isn't. That's not a game.
Aura History Untold. You had Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Indiana Jones. Right now we got all of these to look forward to. Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. And we'll see more at the Summer Games show about the second half, and I'm just intrigued what's going to be revealed, man. Because Ninja Gaiden 4, I like this year is already surprising enough, but it's also Game Pass,
I was expecting
man.
2026.
So
I was expecting 2026.
Yeah. Game Pass day and date.
Insane.
Brand new Ninja Gaiden game. 2025.
That is crazy.
And I'm about to go play Tokyo Extreme Racer in 2025. What's happening?
And Platinum Games, too.
And Platinum Games. What is happening in gaming?
We just got bad news for Platinum Games. Like, but obviously they got Young Blood in there, so obviously they're trying to correct something. Yeah. Whatever bad blood was there before is obviously not bad. And apparently we got also a tease of Astral Chain 2 that is also made by Platinum Games. So there's a possibility. I mean, knowing Nintendo, they may not let it, but what if Astral Chain 1 and 2 are able to come to Xbox as well because of this deal, right? Maybe it's a good relationship. They say, hey, put this game in more places. Not enough people played Astral Chain. I haven't, and I want to play it, but I'm not playing on Nintendo. I'm good.
Yeah. That was my problem. I started playing the game. I was liking the game, but it was on my Switch. So I couldn't keep playing it. I was just like, oh god, this thing is ruining my experience. Put it on the big screen, blurry. Put it on the small screen. I hate it because it's on a small screen, playing in handheld, and I don't like the way the controls are and stuff like that, you know. So, but yeah, games like that, I would love to see come to a legit, like, you know, but maybe it'll play better on the Switch too, right? Maybe. Oh man.
Future Generations asks, is Ninja Gaiden Black 2 a different game than the first? From what the chat was saying, is of course it's the second game. I heard somebody in chat also say that they have there's more enemies and stuff in there as well. I thought it was more like, again, the definitive version of the game. But not only that, the game is completely redone in UE5.
Yeah.
Like, I think that should be enough to sell you on it if like you never played it. Again, I had just started playing Ninja Gaiden 2. I have the collection. It's on. I have it through Game. I bought it and everything. And I was like, you know, I'm playing Ninja Gaiden 2. Got into 2. I was like, all right, something pulled my attention away. And then Black comes out today, and it's in UE5, looking better than ever. Who knows what other changes they made?
Ninja Gaiden 2 is a classic, man. So like getting that one redone. It's for me, it's the best of them.
Okay.
Personally, it was literally back in the day. There was a period of time I was a teenager, so I was like always doing stupid stuff. There's a period of time I didn't have an Xbox anymore, right? And I had to get an Xbox again to play Ninja Gaiden 2. And I got it, and I was like, it was just everything, you know. Absolutely amazing game, amazing franchise. Crazy seeing it back this way now in 2025, but. We have a show tonight, PM in the PM. Pong Soul. I'm going to be curious to get his thoughts tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see if I have some time to maybe play some Tokyo Extreme Racer before that. I hope so. If not, then look for a stream tomorrow for some TXR. But Steel? Fuzz? I want to see where everybody can find you. So, hey, Fuzzy, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can find your rambles and rants.
You can definitely find my rambles and rants on anything gaming related on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll be able to find me. You can also find me tomorrow on Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m., Double Barrel Gaming. Definitely check that show out. And that evening, Fright Night with Ferocious Fee at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be talking about Die Alone. Interesting movie, kind of post-apocalyptical with tree monsters and whatnot, or the trees attack us, I guess. And then later that evening, right here on this channel for Xbox Ultimate, 9 p.m. Look forward to seeing everybody in the chat there as well. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today, Fuzz. Appreciate you, man. And then the one and only Steel Rain hopping in, coming through to hang out for another co-stream. This is almost like a staple, I think. We can almost expect to see Steel on the co-streams. I love it, man.
Yeah,
part
if
of
I
the
can,
family.
for sure. A lot going on behind the scenes, but yeah, definitely dope that I could definitely get in here today. I was hoping that I would be able to make it as long as everything.
Well, I was
played
happy
out
you
right.
were, man. It's love your insight, especially on like
appreciate
some of these games, dude. You got some Steel games in this.
I did. Just started off too, and it was really heavy. And again, one that I was kind of pulling my interest from what we originally seen just because of what it's doing, and seeing more of it. It's like, man, I really like the open world concept of Expedition 33 as well, the adventure style of it. So a lot of dope stuff to hear today, man. I definitely give today showcasing at least a 9 out of 10 for sure. Really excited about the direction that they're going. They're showing that they are listening, right? They are paying attention to what's kind of needed out there. This is definitely, I mean, again, Ninja Gaiden 4, I think by itself is kind of that just one, right? That Eastern flavor that you're looking for. So it's really, we're just moving further and further into exciting times. And Xbox further cementing to me why I believe in the direction that they're moving into. Many other people may not, and they may not see it, but I will continue to be a Game Pass subscriber. I continue to see value in everything that they're doing. You're giving me more ways to play my games than ever before. And if they continue to move this direction with that play anywhere strategy as well, to where it doesn't matter where I'm at, I can get access to my games and play them out of my library with my saves. That is such a dope thing to look forward to. But yeah, man, glad I can make it in. Y'all can catch me, Steel Rain, no longer with the eyes. The T is a 7 everywhere. Easiest place to type it in is Google. I do frequent the streets of X, otherwise known as Twitter. And you can catch me in the streets of Tokyo. Well, on the highways, I should say, on the Shotoku Expressway. Getting it in right now in a nice old BRZ. Nice little Subi action right now. So, yeah, man, I might run it back with another stream of that. But other than that, gaming is it's in such a great place, bro. It's so magical right now. But yeah, man, appreciate everybody. Much love to y'all, chat, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Right on, man. Oh, and it looks like Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is coming in at a beefy 86 gigabytes for a remaster.
It is not a small game.
They got some assets that you need to install.
And I saw people on Twitter already running with it. Talking about these games coming to PlayStation. Oh, it wasn't that special because all these games are coming to PlayStation. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, a game, from what I saw somebody say, is 14 years old, with Ninja Gaiden 2 being. The game is $50 if you want to get the Black version. I got it in Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I can play it on my console or my PC right now.
Yep. And on your PC with this UE5 too, like you could, see how far, what the visuals look like on a higher end PC also, man. And hey, just so you know, and Fuzzy knows here, Keeley put out his poll as usual.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you would wonder, like, what does the other side think? What does the people in general just think about this? A is running away with it.
Okay.
So it's A, B, C, or D or below, right? And it's got A is 49.9%. B is 27%. C is 10%, and D is 11%. So A is running away, like with this. Second being B. So people liked it. People liked this Dev Direct. That's already based.
Whoever that C and D is unhappy with their life.
I think so. You know who those people are, right? Let's just be honest.
That's crazy.
That's the troll, toxic, probably PlayStation fanboys mostly that are like, oh yeah. Let's rate this.
That's fair.
But anyway, fun show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and like I said, 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, PM in the PM, and we'll see you there. Have a good one. Peace out.